Alrighty, thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of the Konoha Companion. This is Joshua, and I'm your Konoha Companion. And on this episode, we're going to be reviewing episode 6 of season 1, entitled A Dangerous Mission, Journey to the Land of Waves. There's a brief description of the episode that goes, Naruto and his squad start their first ninja missions with boring and menial tasks. Weary and angry, Naruto vents his frustration at the Hokage. And the episode starts with a shot of a body of water, and you hear the members of Squad 7 on the radio, and they're all confirming that they're in the correct positions. Suddenly, a dark figure with glowing eyes comes leaping through the woods, and Kakashi yells for everyone to pursue the figure. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are tailing the figure, and Kakashi is directing the operation remotely, but nearby with a headset. Naruto indicates that he's 5 meters from the target, and he's ready for Kakashi to give the signal. Sakura and Sasuke both confirm in quite the same way, and Kakashi gives the signal. All three rush the figure at once, and Naruto tackles the figure. In this moment, it's revealed that the figure that they were tracking and tackling is a cat. It even has like a little bow. It's obviously not a real threat. Naruto is exclaiming, I've got it, I've got it. And all the while, the cat is just scratching him all up. Kakashi asks for them to verify if it has a red ribbon on its right ear, and Sasuke is able to confirm this over the radio, and Kakashi responds, right. Lost pet, Tora captured, mission accomplished. And Naruto screams into the earpiece, can't we get a better mission than this? I hate cats. And it literally knocks Kakashi over. Now, obviously, at this point, Naruto wants a bigger mission. He's never going to be recognized the way he wants to be for catching cats. And obviously, throughout the entire series, it's been a consistent theme for Naruto to be impatient, right? And so, obviously, this guy's going to have a lot of trouble with slowing himself down and taking the task of catching cats in the woods very seriously whenever he's trying to, go save the world, right? At this point, the title screen comes in and Naruto's voice reads the title, A Dangerous Mission, Journey to the Land of Waves. And at this point, we've never heard of the Land of Waves. I don't think we've ever even heard of like any other lands. I don't even know if they've ever even really gone into detail about the Land of Fire at all. I know that I've mentioned that it's the Land of Fire, but I don't know if they've actually even done that yet. But I wonder what the deal is with the Land of Waves. I wonder if they have ninja villages. Where's it at? Obviously, tons of questions at the current moment about the Land of Waves. The next scene is the cat being returned to its owner, and the owner is just smothering this cat. And Naruto laughs and says, it's a bad kitty, and it deserves to be squashed. Sakura remarks, no wonder it ran away. And next we are in the office of the Hokage, and Lord Third is reading from a list that there are a variety of missions available for Squad 7. Among them are babysitting, helping someone with their shopping, etc. And Naruto interrupts and exclaims that, no, I want a real mission. And he's throwing up an X, right? And there's the game show, noises. And he's basically saying that he wants something challenging and exciting, not this little kid stuff, right? There's no excitement in chasing down a cat whenever you're a ninja. Sasuke seems to agree and even thinks he's got a point. Sakura thinks to herself what a pain Naruto is. And Kakashi, in his internal dialogue, this guy's so aloof that even in his internal dialogue, he's yawning and being, really kind of, it's a drag-ish. And he goes, I knew this was coming, right? Iruka, who is sitting next to the Hokage, comes in real hot and heavy and goes, how dare you, you're just a Genin with no experience. Like everyone else, you start with simple missions to develop your skills and prove yourself. And Lord Third just kind of like hides beneath his hat and lets the situation kind of play itself out. Naruto claps back, are you serious? Babysitting isn't a mission, it's a bam! And Kakashi knocks the shit out of Naruto and asks him, will you put a lid on it? Lord Third yells out, Naruto, it seems you do not understand the tasks you've been given. He goes on to explain that many types of requests come into their village every day, from babysitting to assassinations, and that those requests are carefully recorded and analyzed and ranked A, B, C, or D depending on their difficulty. And so I think there's been a time or two throughout the series so far where they've mentioned the A, B, C, or D ranking associated with the mission, but they've never gone into any detail about it. And so this is neat that they're explaining that obviously there's a ranking hierarchy for the difficulty of missions. Obviously D is the least dangerous, A is the most dangerous. He goes on to explain that the ninja are also ranked by ability, and it's the Hokage at the top, the Jonin, the Chunin, and the Genin. And so this is the first time I've actually had the entire hierarchy of the ninja spectrum explained, right? Before, all we'd really heard is that Genin were the trainees and that Jonin were at the top. But as it turns out, the Hokage is also a ninja, and he's kind of the tip of that spear, right? There's only one Hokage, right? So from the field of Jonin emerges a Hokage as needed. Chunin are beneath the Jonin. Jonin is like Kakashi, right? They're the elite trainers and such. Chunin are slightly beneath them, like the Irukas of the world. He was obviously training them, but before they were Genin, right? He was prepping them for ninja life, right? So that's the level of training that a Chunin is prepared to provide. And then a Genin's obviously a trainee. That's Naruto and them, pretty much pups, right? He again reiterates that they assign missions to the ninja who have the appropriate skills and experience. And if the mission is successful, the village receives a fee that helps support the village and the work that goes on within the village. At this point, it shows the lady who was smothering her cat earlier, who had her cat Tora rescued, paying cash to a village clerk. So obviously it's showing like this lady hired the village to retrieve her cat. She had her cat retrieved. She paid the village. Now, like, life goes on. The lights stay on. He continues, since you're untried Genin, just starting down the shinobi path, you're given D-level assignments, of course. And at this point, something catches Lord Third's attention, and it reveals that Naruto has grabbed the attention of the rest of the room and is telling them about ramen. And Lord Third yells, silence, and Kakashi apologizes, and Naruto, unapologetic, yells, you always lecture me like you're my grandfather or something, but I'm not the little brat that used to pull pranks all the time. I'm a ninja now, and I want a ninja mission. He then crosses his arms and turns his back on the Hokage and protests, right? Like a traditional little brat fit that a kiddo would throw. Kakashi rubs the back of his head and remarks about how he's going to hear about this later, right? Now, obviously, we've discussed how these higher-ranking ninja kind of sit around the cafeteria table and talk about what happens, right? So obviously, word about Naruto's behavior is going to get out Even if Kakashi doesn't say anything, right? Iruka's going to say something at the cafeteria table, and before long it's going to get found out that Kakashi has a student that he can't necessarily keep in check, even in the presence of the Hokage. So that'll be fun for Kakashi to deal with as he goes along. Iruka and Hiruzen both can't help but laugh at this. Obviously, it's cute. The kid really wants to be a ninja and wants a serious ninja mission. Lord Third remarks, Naruto wants us to know that he's not a brat, he's a former brat, and that he wants a mission. So be it. All of the squadlings gasp in shock and excitement. And he continues on, since you're so determined, I'm going to give you a C-ranked mission. You'll be a bodyguard on a journey. Rather, you'll be bodyguards on a journey, right? Speaking to the team, not an individual. Naruto loses it with excitement and starts questioning who is it gonna be, a princess, a counselor, and the Hokage says to be patient and that he'll bring him in now. He yells out, send in our visitor, and a sliding door opens and an unassuming drunken man walks in who's literally like drinking from the sake bottle. Remarks, what the? A bunch of little snot-nosed kids? And then takes a huge swig of his booze and belches. And he points at the group and goes, you, the little one with the idiotic look on your face, you really expect me to believe you're a ninja? And Naruto laughs and asks out loud, who's the little one with an idiotic look on his face? And Sakura and Sasuke both move a little closer to him. And in this moment, he realizes that he's the shortest of the group, realizes that he was the butt of this dude's joke, and immediately comes unglued. He threatens to demolish the client, right? This has really made him upset. Kakashi has to, grab him by the scruff of his neck and restrain him, and goes on to tell him, you can't demolish the client, it doesn't work that way. The client then takes another huge swig and announces himself as Tazuna, Master Bridge Builder, and I must return to my country. I'm building a bridge there that will change our world, and I expect you to get me there safely, even if it means giving up your life. It hasn't been stated yet, but I think it's pretty obvious that they are going to the Land of Waves, right? They haven't said it in the episode yet, but it's entitled, they're going to the Land of Waves. This guy's building a bridge, right? There's lots of water. It cuts to a silhouetted figure running through the woods, and it takes us to the entrance of the village. Squad 7 and company are leaving the village, and Naruto exclaims with joy. Sakura asks what his deal is, and he remarks that this is the first time he's ever left the village, and he's a traveler now, believe it. And he's just, giggling giddily, right? He just can't contain himself. And it's wild to think that Naruto's never left the village, right? Like, he's a teenager, he's going to do, ninja shit, right? And, he's never even left this village. It would seem like maybe it's a bubble, right? Like, you would want these people to be more aware of what the outside world is like so that they aren't so naive whenever they find themselves out there in the world, right? You don't want someone to happen across a burglar for the first time and then not know how to identify a burglar. Obviously, they have burglars in the village, but the point is that there are things happening out here in the world that I think probably aren't happening in that ninja village, and hopefully they're at least being educated on what these things are instead of just having these guys figure out what life is like outside of the village on the fly on their first missions. Tazuna remarks, hey, am I supposed to trust my life to this runt? He's a joke. And Kakashi chimes in that he's with me and I'm a Jonin, so you don't need to worry. And Naruto has a little internal meltdown, and he keeps hearing Tazuna's insults echoing repeatedly. And he declares out loud that he's going to destroy Tazuna. he points at Tazuna and yells that you never insult a ninja. It's a huge mistake, and I'm one of the greatest ninja ever. Someday I'm going to be the Hokage, and you'll look up to me. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Remember it. And at this point, it cuts to the silhouetted figure running through the woods again, and it cuts back to Tazuna, who takes a big drink and says, "A Hokage is great and wise, and you're puny and brainless. The day you become Hokage, I'll sprout wings and fly." Naruto just can't handle this guy not taking him seriously, right? As his whole hang-up is being acknowledged and respected, and this dude is doing neither of those things. And he yells for him to shut up and declares that he's willing to do anything to become Hokage, no matter what it takes. And when I do, everyone will have to admit I'm the top ninja around, including you. Tazuna tells him he could become Hokage 10 times over, and to him he'd still be nothing, a loser. Naruto at this point literally goes to attack Tazuna and gets restrained by Kakashi yet again. And at this point, it's revealed the silhouetted figure is nearby, like literally an eye shot of these guys, and it's two ninja who are just running nearby, real close to one another. And they have a headband similar to the headband that Naruto and the team wear, but it has a different symbol, right? So maybe these are ninja from the Land of Waves, or who knows, right? Who really knows what's going on? They definitely don't seem like Hidden Leaf guys, right? They are sulking around and sneaking around, whereas if they were on the same team, they're like, "Hey, what up, team?" Right? And they also have a different symbol. So there's a couple of indicators at this point that make it seem like these guys are definitely not on the team. It takes us back to Squad 7 and Tazuna walking along the trail, and Sakura is asking if there are ninja in the Land of Waves, and Kakashi tells them no, right? So obviously at this point you can conclude those ninjas that we were just experiencing are from the Land of Waves. But he goes on to tell them that in other countries there are hidden villages, each with their own different customs and cultures where ninjas reside. And there's a little bit of an expositional unload here. He goes on to explain that to the people of the continent, the existence of shinobi villages means strength, military strength. In other words, that's how they protect themselves and maintain the balance of power with neighboring countries. The ninja villages are not controlled by any government. They're independent and have an equal status. Now, a small island like the Land of Waves has a natural protection from the sea, and so there's no need for a ninja village. The 5 ancient lands that possess shinobi villages are the Land of Fire, Team Konoha, the Land of Water, Lightning, Wind, and Earth. They each occupy vast territories. Together, they're known as the 5 great shinobi nations. The Land of Fire has the village hidden in the leaves. The Land of Water has the village hidden in the mist. The Land of Lightning has the village hidden in the clouds. And the Land of Wind has the village hidden in the sand. And the Land of Earth has the village hidden in the stones. Only the leaders of these hidden villages are permitted the name Kage, which means shadow, Hokage, Mizukage, Reikage, Kazekage, Tsuchikage. These are the leaders, the 5 shadow that reign over thousands of ninja. And so they didn't explain which Kage is in which village. The Kazekage is the Kage of the village hidden in the sand, which is in the Land of Wind. The Tsuchikage is the Kage of the village hidden in the stone, which is in the Land of Earth. The Hokage, right, Hiruzen, Sarutobi, Lord Third, is the Hokage, which is of the village hidden in the leaves, which is in the Land of Fire. The Raikage is in the village hidden in the clouds, which is in the Land of Lightning. And the Mizukage is in the village hidden in the mist, which is in the Land of Water. Right? So you have Land of Wind, Village of the Sand, Kazekage, Land of Earth, Village Hidden in the Stone, Tsuchikage, Land of Fire, Village Hidden in the Leaves, Hokage, Land of Lightning, Village Hidden in the Clouds, Reikage, Land of Water, Village Hidden in the Mist, Mizukage. So, a lot there, but basically now you understand the 5 great nations, the 5 ninja villages nestled within those nations, and the titles of the leaders of those villages within those nations, right? On with the rest of the episode. Sakura yells out loud that Lord Hokage really is important, and she's like, wow, the Hokage is one of these 5 guys, right? But inside she thinks, is the old man really such a big deal? Naruto thinks to himself how the old man ain't shit. He got him with the sexy jutsu. And at this moment, Tazuna yells, hey, and grabs the kid's attention. And Kakashi demands, you all just doubted Lord Hokage, didn't you? That's what you were just thinking. And Sakura and Naruto both kind of panic, but of course Sasuke plays it perfectly cool, right? Didn't show him doubting the Hokage, so maybe he wasn't. Maybe he just plays it a little bit more aloof whenever he gets found out than either Sasuke, or rather, maybe Sasuke plays it more aloof than Sakura or Naruto, right? They're both kind of goofs. Kakashi walks up and rubs Sakura's head and offers that they can all lighten up. There's no ninja battles in a C-rank mission, so everybody can relax. Sakura adds, and we aren't going to run into any foreign enemy ninja or anything like that, and Kakashi laughs and responds, not likely. In this moment, it gives us a close-up of Tazuna's face, and you can see he has kind of a nervous sweat worked up. And between the nervous sweat worked up that Tazuna has whenever they're talking about how they shouldn't run into any enemy ninjas and how they're being tailed by enemy ninjas, I think it's clear that Tazuna knows he's in something bigger than what he's alluded to the village, and that he's expecting some type of run-in. At the very minimum, he knows more than he's alluding to, right? They continue along their journey, passing a river, a stream, a puddle, just making slow and steady progress, right? And as they pass the puddle, a ninja emerges out of the puddle, and as he comes out of the water fully, you can see that there's another ninja riding his back, right? So these are the 2 ninja that have been the silhouetted figure throughout the entire episode that's been trailing the team. As Kakashi's attention is caught by what's going on behind him, the 2 enemy ninjas shoot chains out at him. They have claws, right? These guys, each of them have one hand that has a mechanical claw on them each, and both of them shoot serrated chains out of their mechanical claw hands and wrap Kakashi up in these chains, and they have Kakashi strung up tight. And one of them yells, do it, and they yank their chains and they fucking turn Kakashi into mincemeat. They fucking turn, literally, they turn him into ground hamburger. And the kids panic, and you should panic. I panic. It's a fucking scene, man. And Naruto exclaims, Kakashi Sensei, and horror. And the 2 enemy ninja appear behind him and say with a chuckle, you're next. And they start to release their chains on Naruto, and Sasuke leaps into action. He knocks the chains away with thrown ninja weapons and sticks the chains to a nearby tree. And he limits the enemy's movement, and Sasuke comes in with a drop kick and drop kicks on both with kind of the traditional Uchiha double kick, drop kick. And the force of the kick and knocking them back snaps the chains loose. And one goes to attack Naruto, and the other one goes for Tazuna. Sakura exclaims that they've got to stop them, and she shields Tazuna with her body. As the enemy ninja approaches Sakura with his mechanical claw engaged, ready to deal the final blow, Sasuke leaps in front of Sakura to protect her. And as the enemy inches closer to land his, kill shot on Sasuke, Kakashi Sensei comes in and clotheslines this fool and saves the day. And so Kakashi Sensei is still around. And Naruto looks up from the ground and sees Kakashi. And Kakashi has both the bad guys effectively knocked out and in headlocks. And Kakashi, chill as a cucumber, looks over at Naruto and goes, "Oh, hi." And Sasuke thinks of how Kakashi is a show-off, right? Sasuke's always real smug about it. Show-off, he's always smug with it. And smug about how Kakashi was a show-off, how he took care of that. Sakura and Naruto are both just mind-blown. And Naruto suddenly remembers that he had seen Kakashi get grinded up by the chains earlier and looks over at where that transpired. And instead of minced meat, he saw a shredded log, right? And so at this point, he realizes that Kakashi used the replacement jutsu earlier to set up a counterattack, which is dope, right? This is something that Sasuke talked about. We had an entire bit of exposition in one of the original episodes where Sasuke is telling us how, basically the point of this is to make them think they got you so that you can set them up for a counterattack. And Kakashi just did this to perfection, right? They weren't aware of the most effective piece on the chessboard, and they got sideswiped and lost. Kakashi apologizes to Naruto for not helping him sooner, and that he didn't mean for him to get hurt, and that he just didn't realize that Naruto would freeze up like that. Tazuna lets out a sigh of relief and thinks to himself, "They saved me after all." Kakashi tells Sasuke, "Good job, very smooth, you two Sakura." And Naruto is having like an existential crisis, right? He just had to get saved by Sasuke, then he had to get saved again by Kakashi, and he wasn't the one who was there to defend the client, and he's just failed on every frontier, right? And he thinks to himself, "I was useless, and Sasuke was so cool, he's done this 1,000 times. Didn't he feel scared at all? He looked so calm, and not a scratch on him, and I was so lame. He had to come and save me. Ugh, why can't I keep up with them?" And just as he's thinking this, Sasuke calls for him. "Hey." And he goes, "Yeah." And Sasuke tells him, "You're not hurt, are you, scaredy cat?" And this could not have been timed more perfectly. I mean, it was literally like the punchline to the joke that Naruto was writing in his head. And it's just, it's like the shit talk, right? These guys are kids, right? And they want to talk shit to one another, and he just couldn't have timed that more perfectly. Naruto goes on to explode on Sasuke, but Kakashi tells him that you have to sit still, that those ninjas had poison in their claws, and we need to get the poison out of you quickly. Kakashi then turns and tells Tazuna that they need to talk, and Kakashi ties up the enemy ninja, ties him up to a tree, and goes on to explain to the group that they're tuning from the village hidden in the mist. Okay, so these guys are two Iruka level bad guys from the village hidden in the mist from the land of water, right? It all follows. He goes on to say that their specialty is relentless attack. They keep fighting no matter what the sacrifice. Funny that someone who keeps fighting no matter the sacrifice got done in by a clothesline, but okay. It's Jonin, right? Maybe Jonins can walk in and just clothesline people like they're, members of the Acolyte Protection Agency from back in the day, just finish guys with clotheslines, I don't know. But that's dope, right? He hit him with a W. One of the Jonin from the Hidden Mist asks Kakashi, "How did you know about our ambush?" And Kakashi tells them, "A puddle on a clear day when it hasn't rained in weeks." And then Tazuna asks Kakashi why he left the fighting to the Genin. And Kakashi says that it would have been easy to take them out quickly, but he had to watch so he could understand who their target was and what they were after. And Tazuna asks Kakashi what he's working towards, and Kakashi explains that he needed to understand if it was a ninja on ninja attack or if they were after Tazuna. He goes on to say, when you put in your request, you asked for standard protection from robbers and highwaymen. You didn't say there were ninja looking for you, hunting you down. If we knew this, it would have been a B rank mission or higher. Our task was simply to get you to your destination and protect you while you finish building your bridge. If we knew we'd be fielding attacks from enemy ninja, we would have staffed differently and charged for the cost of a B mission. Apparently, you have your reasons, but lying to us is not acceptable. We are now beyond the scope of this mission. And so Kakashi's a clever one, man. By hanging back and waiting, he was able to, he knew the attack was coming proactively. He tested the Genin. He found out the enemy motivations, and he found out Tazuna as a liar, all literally without even speaking, right? Just by like sitting back and watching how things transpired. So, damn it, man, Kakashi's a sharp tool in the shed, man. You need to watch how you even act around that guy, much less what you say. Sakura says that they should go back. They haven't been trained for this. She also says that they need to prioritize taking care of Naruto's hand, which it's revealed that Naruto's hand has a little cut on it, and obviously they have poison in their claws, so Naruto's been poisoned at this point. Kakashi seems to agree and is thinking it over, and just as Kakashi starts to conclude that they need to go back to the village, Naruto stabs himself in the hand where he was scratched by the poison claw. And Sakura exclaims, "Stop that, what are you doing?" And Naruto responds, "I've worked so hard to get here, pushing myself until it hurt, training alone for hours, anything to get stronger, just to reach my dream. I'll never back down again and let someone else rescue me. I'll never run away, and I'll not lose to Sasuke. Upon this wound, I make this pledge. Believe it. Bridge Builder, I'll complete this mission and protect you with this kunai knife. A real ninja never gives up, and neither will I. Don't you guys worry about me. I'll be fine. Now let's go." And Kakashi tells Naruto it was really cool how he took the poison out and all, but if he loses any more blood, he's going to die. And before we go any further, I think this is really neat, right? This is like the moment, right, where Naruto experiences a lot of growth, right? He was just a kid. He'd never been out there in the world. They weren't supposed to go out and get attacked by enemy ninja, right? This is supposed to be a C rank mission. They were thinking the worst they were going to deal with was going to be like some dork trying to take Tazuna's backpack. They weren't expecting these guys with poison claws and jutsu and special training, and like, this is a big deal. And so I really can't blame Naruto for freezing up. And shout out to Sasuke for being a thug, right? Coming in and drop kicking those fools. Shout out to Sakura for going and defending Tazuna, like literally no matter how scared she was. But at this point, Naruto has realized that he froze, right? And he is not okay with that. And he has pledged in front of God and everyone, right, that he is not ever going to do that again. And so we're going to see if this holds true throughout the series, if he ever runs away ever again, because he seemed really, really serious just then. Kakashi tells him at that point that seriously he needs to stop the bleeding. And Naruto starts to freak out, right? Kakashi squats down, tells him to show him his hand, that he can take care of it. And Naruto is like freaking out like a kid, right? Like having like a little meltdown about the wound on his hand. Sakura is talking shit about how Naruto is a masochist, right? Why does she know what a masochist is at this point? She's like 13, bro. Come on. And also, I don't know if Naruto got any sexual pleasure out of that. I think homie's like experiencing personal growth. I don't think he's gonna go home and beat his wiener to that. But Sakura called him a masochist. At this point, Kakashi notices that Naruto's wound is rapidly healing on like some Wolverine shit. And Naruto notices Kakashi's serious face and starts to panic even worse and just asks for Kakashi to tell him that everything's going to be okay. Kakashi plays it off and says, yeah, everything's going to be fine, wraps his hand up and continues to think to himself, this healing power, is it from the nine-tailed fox? And we cut to a hideout and some suit wearing thugs are yelling at an unknown character about how they failed and how that's unacceptable and how they paid out good money for them and how they're supposed to be the hotshot assassins. And the person getting scolded pulls out this like humongous ass sword and puts it to the suit boss's throat and tells him to stop whining and yells that he's going to go personally this time and that this sword will be the last thing he ever sees. And this dude's sword is like 8 feet long. And I guess at this point, this is in the hidden mist. The guy with the huge sword has a hidden mist headband, so I guess at this point these guys are being contracted, right, to go and stop Tazuna. And so this could be, what does this mean whenever two villages are getting pitted against one another by their financiers, right? We're going to see where the morals lie, because at this point everybody's just doing what they need to for money, right? And we're going to see if they're going to go and have like a big fight with a whole other ninja village over this money, right? This is supposed to be a C-rank mission. We're going to see what happens when it comes down to having peaceful relations with another mission or faithfully executing this mission, right? The suit boss at this point questions the guy with the big huge sword if it's going to be enough, right? Because the first attack failed, and now the people protecting Tazuna are going to know, and they're going to be watching, and they're going to be waiting. And it's going to take someone with very advanced skill. And the guy with the sword goes, who do you think you're dealing with? I'm Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist. And that's the end of the episode, right? And so at this point, we've met our first real protagonist, Zabuza, the demon of the mist. He's got a big, humongous sword. He's got dudes he can send out to get you in the first place. The fella's obviously dangerous, right? It'll be interesting to see what type of role the guy who's actually paying him plays, how dangerous he actually is, or if he's actually just some guy with some money. Naruto's a little gangster. He's always been a little gangster. I can't believe he froze up in a fight, but that speech was lit. I doubt he's ever going to back down on that again, but we'll see. There's obviously some bad dudes. We're going to see what happens if he gets confronted with Zabuza, right? I think Zabuza is obviously way scarier than his little Chunin, right? This is like the Kakashi of their team, right? And so we're gonna see, because that guy's scary. To review the ninja hierarchy, right? It goes Hokage, Jonin, Chunin, Genin. Hokage's like Hiruzen Sarutobi, Lord Third, and there's obviously a Kage in every hidden village, and there's 5 of them. Jonin are like Kakashi and them. Junin are like Iruka and them. Genin are like the squad, right? Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, they're all Genin. They told us about the mission ranking hierarchy, with A being most difficult, B being medium high difficulty, C being medium low difficulty, and D being low difficulty. The Land of Wind has the village hidden in the sand and the Kazekage leading it. The land of earth has the village hidden in the stone with the Tsuchikage leading it. The land of fire has the village hidden in the leaves with the Hokage leading it. Saratobi, he's the only one we've actually met so far, I reckon. The land of lightning has the village hidden in the clouds with the Raikage, and the land of water has the village hidden in the mist with the village hidden in the mist with the Mizukage. So at this point, we've been introduced to all the big lands, right? We also know about the land of waves. It's a small land. It's, an island nation. It's protected by, the ocean, right? So it doesn't have its own ninja village. Wild to think that Naruto has never left the village before. But those are the primary points that got covered in the episode. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. This is the first big arc, right? This is the first big arc that they've set up in the series, right? We've already seen a lot of growth. We've seen Naruto go from just a kid wearing goggles to being an actual ninja trainee, to him getting fed up with doing menial tasks and being convincing enough to get put on a C-ranked mission instead of a D-ranked mission, and now they're on this, which would have been their first C-rank mission, on something that's now escalated to effectively a B-rank mission. So these guys have gotten thrown into the deep end of what's going on. It's going to be interesting to see how this transpires. It's going to be interesting to see how this transpires relates to the rest of the series, or if it just kind of doesn't have much relation. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all these other villages, right? Again, just to kind of rehash, I think one of the things I'm most interested to see is what's going to happen whenever it is found out that the financial interests of the two villages, the village hidden in the mist and the village hidden in the leaves, what's going to happen whenever their financiers have goals that are at ends with one another, right? Like, who wins? Is it like the guy who pays more, or like they just let those ninja fight it the fuck out, figure out how it's going to play itself out in the field on the fly? Or is Zabuza just like a rogue dude out on the fly doing his own shit? And that's why, because maybe the villages are communicating well and they wouldn't do something that would run them afoul, and this is something outside of that system. Who knows? We're going to see. I'm excited to see how it's all going to play out. And to put a bow on this, guys, I'm Joshua. I'm your Konoha companion. I really, really appreciate y'all tuning in again. Participate in the comments. Share the memes. Let's all be friends, right? That's the point of this. Let's build a community and let's all be friendly with one another. And with that, I'm really looking forward to covering episode 7. And thank you all very much for tuning in.